Happy Monday, and as many of us return to work and get back into a new week, I want to welcome you back to our podcast conversation entitled Seasons, where this week, all week long, we're talking about the season of waiting. And as we find ourselves perhaps in a season of waiting now, or perhaps as you have waited on life or God in the past, maybe we can reclaim some of the things that we've learned in the past and revisit that season. But wherever you find yourself in life, I just want to say welcome this morning. It's a real gift to be with you. The season of waiting. We learned 2 weeks ago that every season, regardless of what it is, they all share some particular things in common. Certainly every season has a beginning and an end, and every season has a very particular personality. I want to unpack both of those things together today and tomorrow, because when you're waiting, it can certainly feel as if it's going to go on forever. And I just want you to hear today the voice of wisdom reminding you that you're not going to be waiting forever. Every season has a beginning and an end. You're not going to be waiting forever, although it can feel like that sometimes. You're not going to wait forever. And you know that because in the past you have waited, haven't you, on things, and you haven't waited forever. It's come to fruition, or it's come to conclusion. It's just important for us to learn from life. That's why we talk about seasons, because if you're in a current season of waiting, it can feel overwhelming sometimes if you feel the despair that it's never going to end, or if you're always going to be in the posture that you're in. When we're waiting and we are tempted to believe that it's never going to end, like it's going to go on forever, then that's where we can feel either hopeless, we can feel frustrated, we can feel alone, whatever it feels like for you whenever you're waiting. I want to encourage us to learn from St. Joseph, of all people. And I want us to learn today from the Blessed Mother, of all people. Those two people, that beautiful couple, the Holy Family, Joseph and Mary, I think they teach us how to wait. I want to draw you to a very particular part of their life as a word of encouragement today about the difference between waiting for God to do something versus waiting with God as He's doing something. I was going to share that with you on Friday, but I just wanted to offer that word of encouragement right up at the front of the week because I just think it's important to give you something to hold on to. Here's Joseph and Mary, right? They are betrothed, which means that they are actually legally married. If you want to learn more about what that meant, then hang on. There's a great book coming out this Advent that I'm working on right now that I think is going to be fascinating. But, you know, I find myself peering into that story about their betrothal. Of course, here comes the intervention of the Lord, right? Mary conceives by the power of the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ in her womb, and for lots of different reasons that a lot of us, I think, would benefit from understanding. Joseph, out of a sense of awe and perhaps unworthiness, decides to divorce her quietly, right? And now he's got to grapple and sift through his emotions, right? And Mary is waiting. And that was a tough season for her. It wasn't a long season, but she was waiting on God to do something in Joseph's life. And instead of just waiting, kind of biding time and tapping her foot and saying, hey, speed this thing up, right? Mary waited with God as she waited for Joseph. There's a difference between waiting with God versus waiting for God to do something. And I just want to offer that right up at the front of the week, because if you're waiting on a particular relationship to be restored, if you're waiting for someone to come around, if you're waiting for something at work, if you're waiting for God to answer a prayer, like all those circumstances, whatever you are waiting on right now, God's with you. And you can either wait with Him, talk it out, what it's like to be there, or we can try to tough it out. And I can guarantee you that the latter is never as filled as with as much grace as the former. So your homework today is just to ask yourself, if you're waiting, are you waiting with God or for God? Maybe that's the best place for us to start. And if you need something to hold on to, I want to encourage you today to go to Psalm 37. Psalm 37 in the Old Testament, the book of Psalms, Psalm 37. How about you check out Psalm 37, verses 1 through 7. Trust that God is with you in the waiting, and ask yourself, are you waiting with God or are you waiting for God? Come on back tomorrow. We're going to unpack that a little bit more about what does it feel like, all the emotions that are part of the waiting. But until that conversation unfolds, know that the Lord is with you today, and until that conversation unfolds tomorrow. God bless you.